Hey neighbors, how are you doing? Long time no chat, no see. I hope that you're all doing fantastic. Today I am doing 4 recipes from this cookbook. It is a Canadian cookbook, and this particular one in a series that I have is slow cooker recipes. So I have 4 slow cooker recipes that I'm going to share with you today. I did these recipes over on my other channel called Jerry in Canada. Over there, I do shopping, groceries, hauls, and all that kind of stuff. And I mix the the vlog with some cooking sometimes in it. So I condensed the videos, cut out all the vlog parts, and kept the recipe parts for you all so that I can share these 4 recipes with you. I hope that you're all doing fantastic. I have my Snoopy mug here and having a good old cup of coffee, and let's get into the videos. Okay, friends, the first recipe is called creamy chicken Dijon. Okay, I have 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts that I sliced horizontally to make thin pieces, and then get yourself an onion, chop it up. It's like 1.5 cups or 375 mils of chopped onion. Add that to your dish. And I have a can of sliced mushrooms. I don't mind canned mushrooms, so I'm sticking with the recipe, but if you're using fresh, saute them first. Now I rinsed my can of sliced mushrooms really well, and the size of the can is 10 ounces or 284 milliliters of canned mushrooms that I drained and rinsed. And now you're going to get a can of cream of chicken soup. This is also a 10-ounce can, 284 milliliter can. And I'm using a half a cup of water to rinse that can out, because the recipe does call for a half a cup of water. Then I'm also going to add 1/4 of a cup of a Dijon mustard. It's just a regular Dijon. And add that to the cream of chicken and water. There's also, before it's finished, there's some stuff that you add in the last few minutes of cook time as well. The recipe does say that you mix this first in the crock pot and then put your chicken in there and your onion. But I thought, what's the difference doing it this way? So I added my chicken first and my mushrooms and whatnot. Now you're going to add the mixture in there and give it all a good mix about until it's coated very well. Then you're going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of dried red chili flakes. You can use a bit more if you want, but yeah, add that over your stuff in the crock pot. Now, after it says 8 or 9 hours on low or 4 to 4.5 hours on high, then you're going to come back to it, and you're going to add frozen broccoli that you thawed and you drained it really well so that it's not all like wet. And there's a 26-ounce bag or 750 grams of broccoli. If they're really large pieces, cut them up to more bite-sized pieces. And then you're also going to add some evaporated milk, 5.5 ounces or 160 milliliters of evaporated milk. And add that in and give it all a good stir. And then you're going to put the cover back on. And I'm just scraping the sides that got a little bit of bits on it as it was cooking. So I'm just scraping that down into the liquid there. And then you're going to return the cover and you're going to cook it for like another 20 minutes. And if you want your broccoli to be softer, you can cook it longer. But keep an eye on your crock pot, because yours may cook faster than the time that this recipe says, because These recipes are from gosh knows what era, and the crock pots were probably not as good as today, and it might cook up faster. I found mine did cook up faster than what the recipe said. I'm going to plate this up and show you what it looks like and have a good old tasty poo. I got myself a spoon and I got myself a fork because I'm going to taste the liquid with a little bit of broccoli. And we really enjoyed this. This was really good. You could have this with a lot more broccoli than what they said in the recipe. You can have it over rice. You can have it over mashed potatoes. You can have it just the way that it is. So it tastes like a really nice, sort of like creamy gravy. I'm having myself a piece of the chicken. And I did find this tasty. And I wanted to go back for another bite. And I almost put my fork in there, but I did not put my fork in there because I knew that that's a no-no to do that kind of double dip. But anyway, now let's just get on to the next recipe in this video. And I appreciate you all for being here today. Let's get to doing a crock pot recipe in this Canadian cookbook. Company is coming, slow cooker dinners, okay? This one I'm making today is called rice and bean tacos. It's a filling for your tacos. A half a cup of wild rice, and you're going to rinse this under fine mesh strainer here, cold water, and rinse it really well, like a minute or two. Okay, my crock pot. What am I putting in my crock pot? Just dump it all in. I guess you can call this a dump and go recipe. I'm going to put my rice in because I'm going to use this strainer again to rinse off my beans. This is 19 full ounces, 19 full ounces, 540 milliliters of mixed beans. So I have a 6 bean that says get mixed beans. You need 2 cans of mixed beans. Rinse and drain. It's just Graham and I, right? This makes quite a bit. So what I'm going to do, how much does it make? If you want to make it ahead, it says that you can combine the first 10 ingredients in slow cooker, cover and chill overnight. Ten ingredients is all what goes into the crock pot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to divide it. Makes 24 tacos. So I am going to divide it into freezer bags. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get 6 freezer bags, and I'm going to divide enough for 4 tacos in each freezer bag. After this cooks and cools down to room temperature, I'll put it into the freezer bags. And when Graham and I feel like a couple of tacos each, I'll take out the freezer bag, put the ingredients into a microwavable dish, defrost it and heat it in my microwave. A can of chilies, green chilies. I had this in my cupboard. I didn't even have to buy any of these things because I already had everything, which is nice. Green chilies. See what they say here for the green chilies. This is 118 milliliters. It's calling for 113 milliliters, which is 4 ounces, but this is just a little bit more. And if you don't have this, like, you can put something else in there. Dice up some jalapenos if you have them in a jar. Like, dice them up real fine and put them in. Okay, it calls for a can of diced tomatoes. I believe I got the right size diced tomatoes. 28 ounces, 796 milliliters, 28 ounces. Going to put this in with its juices. Put your diced tomatoes in there. Okay. So far, that's what it looks like. I'm going to add some spices and some sugar and give it all a good mix about. Get my wooden spoon. I love that wild rice. Oh, how much sugar? How much sugar? Granulated sugar. It calls for a teaspoon. Alrighty. A teaspoon of ground cumin. Oh, that doesn't fit in there. I'll use my half teaspoon. Yeah, I have to put two of these because my full teaspoon doesn't fit, but my half teaspoon fits. So 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, it's going to be spicy, I think. A teaspoon of dried oregano. Give it a mix about. Oh, we got to get another ingredient. We need a cup of vegetable broth. Oh, I didn't put the thingy back on my oregano. 1 second. I'm going to get vegetable broth. A cup. I'm going to have to mix it later because my bouillon cube, I'll have to mix it all through when it breaks apart in there. Okay. Put my cover on. 4 to 5 hours on high, 8 to 10 on low, in a 3.5 to 4 liter crock pot. Okay, I'm going to take the cover off. It's sizzling hot. I had mine going for about 5 hours. I'm just gonna put a little tasty poo in a bowl so I could burn my mouth off and have a little taste of this. You see okay in there. Look at it. Don't it look delicious? It's going to take a while to cool off, that's for sure. Okay, let's have a tasty poo. I bet it tastes almost like a bean chili with some rice or something. It's a little bit of a kick to it with the 2 teaspoons of chili powder that's in it and diced green chilies. But you could adjust, of course, adjust if you want. If you are freezing it like I'm going to, when you're ready to use it, take it out of the freezer bag, put in the microwave safe bowl to defrost and reheat. Mm. 2 thumbs up. Delicious. If you want, you could use beans that you like and enjoy. You could use black beans mixed with some pinto beans if you prefer, instead of mixed bean. This was the 6 bean cans that you find at Walmart. And anyway, it does taste good. we will be looking forward to having this in tacos in the future. This started. This is mini meatballs and snow peas. Beef. Quarter cup of dried breadcrumbs. Teaspoon of dried parsley flakes. Teaspoon of salt. Quarter teaspoon of pepper. 1 large egg. A half a cup of finely diced onion, some for the counter. So it wouldn't be me if I didn't feed my counter. That's just a small onion. I am going to mix this and roll into 40 mini meatballs. Okay. I have my oven on broil high, and you're going to put this under the broiler about 15 minutes, turning it halfway through, and until all the pink, so you don't see any pink. Okay? 6 inches away from the boiler. And then while that is doing its thing, we'll get the sauce started. It's going to have thinly sliced carrots as well, as the snow peas go in way at the end, pretty close to the end. And a cornstarch slurry goes in at the end as well. If you want, this can be a prep meal. You can do the meatballs the night before, put them in a container in your refrigerator after they cool down, and you can mix the sauce in a container and put that in the refrigerator, and then the next day you can throw it in your crock pot. I'm putting a little more carrots in than the recipe calls for. The recipe calls for half a cup or 125 milliliters of carrot. Like I say, I'm just going to put a bit more in because they're kind of chunked up together. I bought carrots on sale. I washed and peeled them, sliced them up, and I blanched them, and then I froze them. That way, they wouldn't go bad on me, and I get to use them in a recipe like today. The can of pineapple with its juice, it says 14 ounces, which is 398 milliliters. This is a bit more, a few more ounces. It's 540 milliliters. I just don't feel like freezing. I got already some crushed pineapple frozen in the freezer that I need to use up and whatnot. So I'm just going to use the whole can, okay? I might need a little bit extra cornstarch slurry at the end because of the little extra liquid. Making these for Graham. And I'll have a little container that I will freeze half of these in for him for a later date as well. Okay, what else does it call for, my friends? Brown sugar packed. You need a half a cup of brown sugar. One thing I forgot to get down. I'm vertically challenged, people. 5 foot nothing here. But at least I think I'm 5 feet. Some people tell me I'm shorter than that, but I refuse to believe them. Okay. You can use light or dark brown sugar. It doesn't say. So I'm assuming that you can just use whatever sugar you feel like, that you find tasty. Mine's a mix, because I just buy brown sugar and I put it in here.
White vinegar, 1/3 cup or 75 milliliters.
Quarter cup of ketchup. I'm just going to eyeball that. Okay. 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. 3 tablespoons of water.
So the recipe says finely grated, peel ginger root, or a half a teaspoon, 2 milliliters, that is, of ground ginger. I just use the ginger that I bought, they come in little jars, and I put 2 teaspoons in. 1 garlic clove minced, or you can use a quarter of a teaspoon, 1 milliliter of garlic powder. I'm just going to put this minced garlic in here. Give it all a good mix about. I'm going to put this stuff away and get the meatballs and add them to the crock pot. This crock pot, my son was at a thrift store and he saw it and it reminded him of a crock pot that we had when he was little. And he said, I had to get it for you, Mom. The only difference is the color, really. Meatballs. I have it away from the broiler more than what the recipe says. And the 15-minute time seems to be perfect with it. But mine's more like 10 inches away from the broiler. I'm using an older crock pot. I wonder if it's going to line up with the time on it. Because you'd want your carrots to be softened the way that you enjoy them. And you want your meatballs to be fully cooked, which they pretty much are, I believe, after being under that broiler. And I have a bit of a spoiler alert for you. Graham absolutely loved these.
You could have it with a bunch of broccoli, the snow peas, the carrots, other peppers, maybe some peppers, and peppers, onion, slices of potato, broccoli. Like you could probably put a lot of that in there. Like I make a potato stir fry that I really enjoy. So slices of potato would be nice in that. We'll come back when we're ready to do the snow peas and the cornstarch slurry.
Make this on high for 4 to 5 hours or on low for 8 to 10 hours, according to this. But you just keep an eye on your crock pot because this is an old recipe, so it's probably going by old time crock pots, you know what I mean? And now, about 30 minutes before it's done, 30 minutes before it's done, do a cornstarch slurry. And then you mix this all about, and then you put your cover back on. And after about 20 minutes, when it starts to really thicken up, you're going to add your snow peas. So after you wash your snow peas, you're going to add a cup of snow peas. I'm adding a bit more than a cup because I bought just a little bag of these snow peas that I washed up. I'm going to mix that through. Graham requested rice for this. Now you're going to put the cover back on and you're going to let them cook for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. My carrots were done nicely. They weren't mushy. They were just done nicely. So they held together nice. So they were kind of not thinly sliced, but kind of thickly sliced. Actually, just say medium sliced. So here we are. This is the finished dish, if you will. And I made some rice in my rice cooker, and I'm telling you, this sauce is really nice. And the last recipe is called Parmesan chicken. I was a bit skeptical of this recipe when I was trying it or putting it together, but it ended up being tasty. And I'll tell you why I was skeptical later on in the recipe. But this recipe calls for whole chicken wings that you split in half and tips discarded, or chicken drumettes. I'm using drumsticks, okay? And the reason why is because that's what I had on hand. And the cook time worked out really well for the drumsticks here. So I really think that the chicken wings would have cooked up a lot faster but because I went with what the recipe said and my drumsticks were great. So warm up your crock pot. I'm just using my little crock pot today. This recipe is good for, how much chicken was in this recipe? 3 pounds. That's 1.4 kilograms. I had less than that because it's just Graham and I. And then you're going to add to your Parmesan cheese 1/3 of a cup of fine breadcrumbs. You can use panko if you have panko breadcrumbs, Italian breadcrumbs, plain breadcrumbs. Mine, it didn't specify, but it just says fine dried breadcrumbs, 1/3 of a cup or 75 mils. Then 1.5 teaspoons of parsley flakes. Then 1.5 teaspoons of paprika goes in there. Then you're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of seasoning salt. I ran out of seasoning salt, so I just put 1.5 teaspoons of salt in there. Now I am taking my chicken drumsticks there, and I'm adding 3/4 of a cup of plain yogurt, so 175 mils of plain yogurt, and I'm coating my chicken with it. And you could have your breadcrumbs in a bag and add your chicken to a bag, give it all a shake about. But I just like doing it this way. I put it in a bowl. And then I'm going to coat each piece of chicken and add it to my crock pot. I did grease my crock pot a bit, although the recipe doesn't say I have to, but I did anyway. And now I'm just going to give these a coat, each one, and add them into my little crock pot. Oh, it does say to grease your crock pot. I'm looking at the recipe now, so it does say to grease it. A 3.5 to 4 quart or 3.5 to 4 liter crock pot or slow cooker, whatever, and cover it and cook on low for 8 to 9 hours. No, cook on low for 8 or 9 hours, or on high for 4 to 4.5 hours. And then you're going to remove the chicken with the slotted spoon to a large serving platter and discard the liquid. And the amount that they gave for this serves 4. Now, the reason why I was skeptical, because whenever I braise chicken, I remove the skin off the chicken, and sometimes I'll flour it and kind of brown it a little bit in the frying pan and then add it to my crock pot or whatever pot I'm using. But I was surprised. I thought, I'm not sure if I'm going to really like this because the skin was left on and braising, but it was really good. Will I make this again? Yeah, absolutely I will. Maybe I'll remove the chicken, but you don't really have to. If you're using drumsticks or chicken thighs, you could put this with chicken wings, chicken thighs, drumsticks, whatever. But I think breast would probably dry out a little bit on you, or just, of course, change the cook time if you're using chicken breasts. But maybe I'll remove the skin the next time just for health reasons, like just to be healthier. But it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Graham really enjoyed it. Anyway, that's the last of the recipe there, my good friends, my neighbors. I appreciate every single one of you, and I do hope that you come back again. I'll be back hopefully sooner than later, and you all take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!